we'll be discussing about Buhari at budget presentation, tales of shameless lawmakers. As we all know, yes, on Wednesday, the parliament witnessed a rowdy session while the president, Muhammad Buhari, presented the 2019 appropriation bill before the National Assembly. So let's get to this discussion. Jide, what do you feel about the presentation of the budget before we move to the reaction of the lawmakers?
Yeah, basically, at least I'm glad the budget was presented, irrespective of the atmosphere under which it was done. Because earlier we were skeptical that it was not even going to take place. Recall that the staff of the National Assembly, as we speak, are still protesting by way of warning strike, complaining about unpaid allowances and other unfriendly working conditions. But by and large, the president has gone to present the budget, and of course it's 8.83 trillion naira. It's about 300 billion naira short of what was presented in 2018, which was 9.1 and that was presented in November last year. And it's instructive that the base for the 2019 budget is about 2.3 million barrels per day. Then the forex is pegged at about 305 naira per dollar. And instructively too, and worrisomely, we have about $1 billion prospected for subsidy. And I think we should be doing everything to eradicate subsidy, because for some of us we see it more as a scam. But the president has said that it is intended to ease the burden on the citizens, and I'm still questioning the fact that why is it that we have the crude oil and we don't have the refining capacity, and we wastefully export our crude oil for refining, wastefully import it into the country to be sold at a premium, because it's been disclosed that right now the cost of bringing fuel into this country is even higher than the pump price. So does this make economic sense? And of course, in the budget you discover that what is allocated to recurrent expenditure, which may be a usual thing, is higher than that of capital projects, and the fact that our debt servicing also will gulp a lot. So by and large, even right from the presentation of this bill, you can see like something that may not be as positive as some may expect. But then it's been presented. It's now for the National Assembly to begin to dissect and do their own business over it.
We have our second guest with us. Ziggy Ibeh is social commentator. Like I made mention earlier to Jide that some Nigerians has actually took it to Twitter, saying different kind of things, and according to them, they felt that what they did was uncalled for, while others sees it as a beauty of a democratic system.
What is being democratic about it? Do we display insanity in democracy? Democracy is all about rule of laws, good behavior. So, but when you have a group of people, I wouldn't want to call some names because is inanity of all sorts. Why should people with so much respect and avertu would come up in the open and begins to jay at a president of a country? What would the world there would take it? How would they take it? How would they see us? Most times they've said the president has gone out the country to demarket. What they did there was a pure demarcation of the country. Yes, it's a translation of how we are, the kind of people we are. That sells faster. In all the social handles, you see how people are. What will people say about some elements of people who don't give respect to whom respect is due to?
Okay, let's hear your last take as regards on this this topic before we move to the next topic, Jide.
Yeah, I think both the people in government and the governed should take the pain of studying Chapter 2 of the Nigerian Constitution 1999 as amended, and we can right there identify the essence of having a structure called government. I believe when we shift focus from the powers of office to caring for the people, which is a reflection of national interest, we'll be able to play down on some of these things. But as long as the only environment where you have the comfort and the luxuries of life is in those offices, the storm can only grow wilder, like Bauga just mentioned now. And some of us are not surprised. You've watched them climb gates to enter the National Assembly. So, and if we think the global community should be worried about us, they have left us with our character. So it's now for us to rebrand and reposition ourselves to take advantage of the huge economic, leaps that are going on outside the world. You can see US and China now talking economically after all the stampeding that Donald Trump brought in. That is the level where we should be operating with all the resources we have in this country. Even if we say that we don't want Nigerians to work and just enjoy the resources, you can bring foreigners and give them instructions and ensure that they do the needful. And it's not so difficult, but when the focus is not on developing the country, we may not quickly come out of the doldrum like what we witnessed.
Okay, you can.
The present budget we're operating has not elapsed.
Okay.
And the budget coming at this time is too late. The last budget was passed in November. Okay, and the brouhaha we faced. Some things were inserted, some were not inserted. Back and forth movement of the budget to the president refusing assent, brought back to readjust, went back again. Before all the brouhaha ended, it was passed. Very. This budget, as we present practicing, is about 6 months into this year's budget, and this one, the way it is, might not see the light of the day till maybe mid next year, because electioneering is on.
Yes.
And after the Yuletide, we'll now go into the real election. That will be off by maybe around March and all that. Nobody will talk about this budget. They wouldn't have time to sit to really consider the contents of the budget. So you find out that before this budget might not even see the light until July or August
of next month.
So the kind of people we're having, that's why so many of us are worried that if your disposition towards this budget presentation is like this, how would your disposition be when it comes to passing it? Because what it means that some of the sanctions that were removed by the president, in fact, the president is being paid back by maybe some things he did to them. That's what some parties said. But that is not in the interest of the country. Each time these people are doing this, let's place side by side the interest of the country. What is the interest of the common man in all this? Are you doing it to favor yourself, or you are doing it to favor the larger society?